You have been told your whole life that walking is the safe exercise, the one you cannot get wrong, the one every doctor recommends without hesitation. I am going to tell you something that is going to sit strangely with you for the rest of this video. For a large number of people over 50, the way they are currently walking is quietly working against them, not the walking itself. The way it is being done. Right now, somewhere on this screen, you are probably picturing your own walk, your own route, your own pace. Good. Keep that picture in your head, because by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly which of 7 common mistakes you are making, and more importantly, exactly how to fix each one starting on your very next walk. I want to walk you through 7 mistakes I see constantly in patients over 50. Some of these affect your heart, some affect your joints, one affects your risk of falling in ways most people never connect back to their daily walk. We will go through all 7, one at a time, and I am saving the one that surprises people most for last. Before we get into the first mistake, if you are new here, my name is Dr. Matthew Clark. I am an internal medicine and preventive health physician, and for the past 15 years, I have worked specifically with patients over 50 who want to catch small problems before they become emergency room visits. This channel is genuinely trying to reach 10,000 subscribers so that I can keep making videos like this one, built specifically around the health questions people over 50 are actually asking me. If even a small piece of what you hear today changes how you walk tomorrow, that subscribe button helps more people just like you find this before a small mistake turns into a real injury. So let me properly introduce what we are dealing with today. I have spent 15 years watching patients walk into my office, sit down, and describe knee pain, dizziness, or fatigue they cannot explain. And more often than I can count, the answer was sitting in plain sight in the way they walked to get there. Walking is still one of the best things you can do for your body after 50. Nothing in this video changes that. What changes is how you do it. Before we start the list, I want to ask you something. And I want you to actually answer it in the comments, because it changes which mistakes are most likely to apply to you. When you finish your daily walk, how do you usually feel? Energized and loose? Or tired, stiff, maybe a little achy in the knees or lower back? Type it below, because that one answer tells me more about your walking mechanics than almost anything else I could ask. Mistake number 1, walking too fast, too soon, right out of the door. Here is what is actually happening inside your body in that first 60 to 90 seconds. Your heart rate needs time to climb gradually to meet new demand. When you step outside and immediately push into your normal walking pace, you are asking your cardiovascular system to jump from resting state to working state almost instantly. Think of it like flooring the gas pedal on a cold engine. The engine can technically do it, but you are putting stress on it that a 30-second warm-up would have completely avoided. For someone with even mild, undiagnosed high blood pressure, this abrupt shift can cause a brief spike that shows up as lightheadedness, a pounding sensation in the ears, or general fatigue that people usually blame on just getting older rather than on how the walk began. The fix takes 30 seconds and costs you nothing. For your first minute outside, walk at what feels like an almost lazy pace. Let your heart rate climb into the walk instead of demanding it meet you there instantly. By the second minute, you can move into your normal stride without your body ever noticing the transition because you gave it one. Mistake number 2, and this is one almost nobody thinks about, is overstriding, which is a fancy way of saying your foot is landing too far in front of your body with your knee locked straight when it hits the ground. Every time your heel slams down with a straight locked knee, that impact force has nowhere to go but straight up through your knee joint and into your hip. Over months and years, this is one of the quiet contributors to the cartilage wear that eventually gets labeled osteoarthritis, which simply means the smooth cushioning tissue in your joint has thinned faster than it should have. I want you to picture a non-stick pan that has been scraped with a metal spatula thousands of times. The first few scrapes do nothing visible, but the coating thins a little more with every single pass, and eventually you notice the eggs start sticking. Your knee cartilage works the same way with every hard heel strike. The fix here is shorter, softer steps, landing closer under your body instead of reaching far out in front of you, with a slight, natural bend staying in the knee the entire time it is bearing weight. You are not walking slower, you are walking smarter, and your joints will feel the difference within days, not months. Mistake number 3, keeping your arms still. I see this constantly in my practice. A patient comes in describing swollen ankles or heavy, tired legs by the end of the day, certain it must be their heart or their kidneys. And when I ask them to describe how they walk, they demonstrate arms glued to their sides like they are trying not to bump into anyone. Here is the mechanism. Your leg muscles act as a secondary pump, squeezing the veins in your calves with every step to help push blood back up toward your heart against gravity. This is sometimes called the venous pump, and it works far better when your whole body is moving in a natural, coordinated rhythm, which includes your arms swinging opposite your legs. When your arms stay locked at your sides, your stride naturally shortens and stiffens too, and that coordinated pumping action weakens. Blood pools more in the lower legs, which is part of why some people finish a walk with puffier ankles instead of the lighter feeling walking should actually produce. The fix is simply to let your arms swing naturally, opposite your legs, the way they wanted to in the first place before years of stiff, self-conscious walking trained that motion out of you. I want to pause here for something important, because most people watching this believe one thing that simply is not true. The myth is this: as long as you are walking at all, you are doing it right, because any movement is good movement. Here is the reality: movement is good. But movement done with poor mechanics, repeated daily for years, does not just fail to help, it actively creates new problems in exactly the joints and vessels you were hoping to protect. This is not meant to scare you away from walking. It is meant to make sure the walk you are already doing is working for you instead of quietly working against you. Mistake number 4, walking immediately after a large meal. After you eat, especially a large meal, your body redirects a significant portion of your blood flow toward your digestive system to help absorb nutrients. This is a completely normal process. But if you stand up and immediately begin brisk walking, you are asking your circulatory system to also send blood out to your working leg muscles at the exact same time it is trying to support digestion. In some people, particularly those with even mild blood pressure irregularities, this competition for blood flow can cause a brief drop in blood pressure known as postprandial hypotension, which shows up as sudden lightheadedness, weakness, or a wave of fatigue 10 or 15 minutes into the walk. Most people never connect that dizzy spell back to lunch. The fix is simple timing. Give yourself 20 to 30 minutes after a large meal before heading out, and if you do walk sooner, keep the pace gentle for the first stretch instead of pushing straight into a brisk pace. Mistake number 5, and this is one that will not injure you today, but it is quietly limiting how much benefit you are actually getting. Walking the same route, at the same pace, every single day. Your muscles and your cardiovascular system adapt to repeated, unchanging demand. This is a basic principle of exercise physiology called progressive overload, which simply means your body only keeps improving when it is asked to do slightly more than it is already used to. Walk the exact same loop at the exact same pace for 6 months, and your body has essentially learned the routine and stopped working as hard to complete it. You are still moving. You are just no longer building. The fix does not require a new routine. Add one small variable every week or two. A slightly hillier street, a few minutes of a faster pace mixed into the middle of your walk. A new route that keeps your brain slightly more engaged too, which matters more than people realize. Mistake number 6, walking through foot pain, tingling, or numbness instead of stopping to check it. I understand the instinct here. You do not want to make a big deal out of a little tingling in your toes. But sensations like numbness, tingling, or a burning feeling in the feet, especially if they show up consistently during or after walking, can be an early sign of peripheral neuropathy, which refers to nerve damage most commonly linked to long-term elevated blood sugar, even in people who have not been formally diagnosed with diabetes. The feet are often the first place this shows up because the nerves traveling down to them are the longest in your body, and the longest nerves are usually affected first. This is one mistake on this list I want you to take seriously enough to actually act on, not just note and forget. If you notice persistent tingling, numbness, or burning in your feet, especially if it is new, that is worth a conversation with your doctor, not something to simply push through on your next walk. Mistake number 7, and this is the one that surprises people most because it seems almost too simple to matter: walking without properly hydrating beforehand. When you are even mildly dehydrated, your blood volume drops and your blood becomes slightly thicker, which forces your heart to work harder to circulate it, and can also contribute to sudden drops in blood pressure when you stand or change pace quickly. This is part of why some older adults experience dizziness or near falls specifically toward the end of a walk rather than the beginning, once mild dehydration has had time to compound. And for anyone managing kidney function, this added strain is not trivial. The fix here takes 10 seconds. A glass of water 15 to 20 minutes before you head out is often enough to prevent this entirely. No water bottle or special routine required unless your walk is particularly long or the weather is especially warm. I want to say something plainly because I think it matters. None of these 7 mistakes are your fault. Nobody sat you down and taught you proper walking mechanics, because walking is treated as something you already know how to do simply because you have been doing it since you were a toddler. There is no billing code for a 15-minute conversation about stride length and arm swing, so it rarely happens in a normal doctor's visit, even though it would prevent more knee and hip problems than half of what actually gets treated after the fact. If even one of these 7 mistakes was new information for you today, that alone could change how your joints, your heart, and your circulation are doing 5 and 10 years from now. That is genuinely worth sharing with someone in your life who walks every day and has no idea any of this is happening. If you know a friend or family member who walks for exercise, send them this video. It might be the most useful 2 minutes you send them all year. And if this video helped you, subscribing genuinely helps me keep making content like this specifically for people over 50, and we are working toward 10,000 subscribers together right now. Before we get to your action plan, I want to ask you one more thing, and please actually answer it in the comments. How old are you? I ask this every single video, not out of curiosity, but because it genuinely shapes what I recommend to you specifically, and it shapes exactly what topics I choose to make next. The advice that matters most for someone at 52 looks different from someone at 74, and your answer helps me make sure this channel keeps being useful to you specifically. Here is something that tends to reframe this entire topic for people. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related emergency room visits in adults over 65, and a meaningful number of those falls trace back not to a single dramatic accident, but to small, accumulated walking mechanics just like the ones we covered today. Weak arm swing throwing off balance, locked knees reducing shock absorption, dehydration contributing to a dizzy moment at exactly the wrong step. None of these 7 mistakes look dangerous in isolation. Together, over years, they add up to real risk. Now let's bring this back to the second suspense thread I opened earlier because I told you I was saving the most surprising one for later, and it is this. Of all 7 mistakes, the one most strongly linked to falls in my own patients is not the dramatic one. It is not the locked knee or the fast start. It is the quiet one, mild dehydration, because it produces dizziness at the exact moment your body is least prepared to catch itself, mid-stride, weight already shifted forward. The smallest fix on this entire list may be protecting you the most. Before your action plan, I would genuinely love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments which of these 7 mistakes you recognized in your own walk, and if you have a specific walking or mobility topic you want me to cover in a future video, tell me that too. This channel exists because of the questions people over 50 are actually asking me, and I read every comment. Here is your action plan, and I have kept it to 7 steps, 1 for each mistake we covered today. Number 1, spend your first 60 seconds outside walking at an easy, almost lazy pace before settling into your normal speed. The second step, land your foot closer under your body with a slight bend staying in the knee, instead of reaching out in front of you with a locked leg. The third step, let your arms swing naturally opposite your legs instead of holding them still at your sides. Number 4, wait 20 to 30 minutes after a large meal before heading out, or start gently if you cannot wait. The fifth step, change one small variable in your walk every week or two, a new route, a bit more incline, or a few faster minutes mixed in. Number 6, and this one matters, if you notice ongoing numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet, bring that up with your doctor directly rather than walking through it indefinitely. And the 7th step, drink a glass of water 15 to 20 minutes before you walk, especially on warmer days or longer routes. That is all 7, and every single one of them can be applied starting on your very next walk, with nothing new to buy and nothing complicated to learn. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this video changed even one thing about how you walk tomorrow, please consider subscribing, because this community is genuinely how I decide what to cover next, and I would love to have you here for it. And one last thing before you go. Everything in this video is meant for general education, and every body is a little different. If you have an existing heart, joint, or circulation condition, or if anything in your own walk feels concerning, please bring it up with your own doctor, who knows your history far better than I ever could from here. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.